Hey guys, this is Jamie. In case you're wondering, I'm gay. Anyway, so today's topic, I'm gonna be discussing two shows because I was between discussing these two shows, but then I figured that I'll just try and combine them together. So I really wanted to talk that I feel like television in general, I know I'm gonna sound like a boomer, but I feel sometimes like the recent shows, they really try to dumben the attention, and we're supposed to get references which we don't get, for instance, in RuPaul's case, or references which we are supposed to get, and the show tries to be relatable, which is in the case of the And Just Like That, which is the Sex and the City mistake of a reboot. So let's start with the bad representation. So, and just like that, I watched one episode. So I guess if you want to like fight me or anything, it's because I just couldn't finish it. I finished the first episode. I went into hibernation, depression, and I was just gutted. I was really gutted because I remember they leaked the same scene that Mr. Big would die in the shower when they were planning Sex and City 3 as a movie. And then Mr. Big dies, and the acting is really bad. You don't even understand if he's faking it, if he's not faking it. So I felt not only the episode was structured badly, there was really poor usage of dialogue. They were really trying to relate to the youths. They were really trying to address the fact that Sex and the City was a white cast ordeal, really. I do understand that there's place to grow. There's obviously much more diversity in the US, and it wasn't shown as much in Sex and the City. And then you had shows like Girls, which also had the same criticism and nothing really happens. And then you had shows like Looking, which had great representation and got shut down. But at the same time, fans weren't happy with it. But at the same time, okay, it's been years, so I hope I'm not spoiling anyone. But you still see that the main star, the one who's shown the most, was really Richie in Looking. And he was the one from who it started, because they did a short movie about him. Then they incorporated the whole series with another character, and obviously there was Patrick's story all over Looking, and as well as the other characters. But still, he was really the one who shone through, and at the same time, it was interesting at that time to note that a lot of people were against Richie, and they were actually fucking racist. They didn't want Patrick to end up with Richie. They wanted him to end up with Russell Tovey's character, which was... I think it was Kevin, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. I didn't really enjoy that storyline. And then Russell Tovey ended up... Tovey, I'm sorry if I'm butchering names. Please understand that I live in Portugal. And basically, I remember that he was saying that he's happy that he's not a femme gay, and that his dad put him straight so he's not like pathetic or whatever. And then he apologized, but hey, look, now he's getting roles left and right, and he pretty much, I don't know, he just doesn't give me a good vibe, to put it softly. And specifically that that came out under the light of that, and people agreed with him. Then it came out that everyone racist was supporting him just to support him to end up with Patrick. So there were shows which showed the state of the viewers, really, like Looking, or like Sex and the City, Girls, which really wanted representation. But when it goes to And Just Like That, which is a terrible title as well, the scene with Miranda, where she thinks that the woman can't be a professor, and then she just ends up doing all these slurs and whatever. And at the end of it, from what I understand, or from what I've read, she starts a relationship or starts hooking up behind her husband's back with Che, who is a non-binary individual who works with Carrie on the podcast. And at the same time, the podcast really feels weird. It's like she was writing a column with what, $4 per word. And I do understand that maybe they want to show the readership goes down these days, and maybe podcasts are worth more. But at the same time, everyone's doing a podcast at this time. And it just doesn't feel like Carrie would do a podcast. And then there was the whole discussion which people did, that why is she uncomfortable with masturbation? Masturbation was a topic in Sex and the City. So you kind of have these plot holes going on. And then if you look, since Miranda's cheating, because there was back in Sex and the City, the first movie, Steve cheated on Miranda for not having sex, and she judged him, and now she's doing the same thing, and maybe there's going to be a coming out story by the looks of it, but it still feels very cheap. It feels like they just want to throw out all the partners. So they want to throw out they threw out Big by killing him. They already felt very uncomfortable that they were making fun of Steve having hearing aids and stuff. So that already felt uncomfortable to me in the first episode. So they're gonna eat Steve by the looks of it. And the only one left standing is Harry, but they already showed that Charlotte was getting tired of married life and children back in Sex and the City 1 as well. I know my Sex and the City. So yeah, so that felt really weird. So it's just a mumbo jumbo. And the first reviews came in, and everyone was saying that yes, this is very tone deaf. This is very trying to reach some certain popularity, try to make it relevant. When in reality, it's not relevant now. Like, they could have made it more interesting. And of course, I can't think with a 50-year-old woman's brain, because neither am I a woman, neither am I 50. But at the same time, I feel like everything is too scripted. And it's scripted very, very badly. And I was talking to my partner, and he actually said, well, you always protect the directors of Sex and the City, but what else have they done which was good? And I was like, yeah, you're right, they did nothing good. Besides Sex and the City, obviously. So that's the part where I say that it's very, very tone deaf. It's aiming for relevance. And I'm really disappointed with society that people are picking it up just because of a queer romance in this story. And I wanted to say, okay, yes, queer romance is important. But at the same time, we have lots of it left and right. I do understand that in this case it's a woman, it's a non-binary person as well. And which is also played by a non-binary actor. So obviously I do understand, but at the same time, it just feels so forced, and I don't think, again, I'm binary. I don't think, I'm a binary guy, so I'm a binary gay guy, so who just happens to be trans as well. But I still feel like there is better representation. I can't think from the top of my head now when it comes to woman and non-binary pairings, because I don't really watch that market. But I do watch Sex and the City, so go figure. Which also had Carrie in her very questionable bisexual episode. So mistakes were made, and mistakes are still getting made. So now to the other half of queer culture, which is RuPaul's Drag Race. So I wanted to say that I I did a video on Maddy Morphosis, and I actually freaking love her. Like, I loved all the execution. I loved the guitar thing. Sure, it wasn't like Van Halen shredding like my partner said, but it was great, and it was a great reference to Jimi Hendrix. And the whole outfit was great, which was, I believe, was a campy, more narrowed down version of Prince, for instance. Or maybe it was a Jimi Hendrix, but white. Listen, it was good. So I wanted to say that, probably Jimi Hendrix. I wanted to say that it was really, really refreshing to see that in a talent show. And I do understand that drag has a culture of, yes, check, slay, check. But I was just so disappointed. And specifically that they sent Diabetes home when hers was the best lip sync, in my opinion. It had reveals, check. It had campiness, check. And it was original, check. Instead of, God, I can't even remember her name, Jesus. While other ones were deemed safe, the Camden Queen had a good number with ballet, and then seeing RuPaul say stuff like ballet is boring is like, well, what's new? This is the new version of saying reading is not cool, you know? Go boast about the fact that you're uncultured, okay? And then there was the whole... So please bear in mind that I did not watch the judging. Go judge me as well. Because I really can't stand it. I stopped watching the judging from RuPaul and Michelle, specifically from Michelle, back when they sent Joe Black in RuPaul's Drag Race Season 2 UK for saying that he did not look like a pop Bowie. Well, he was in the most iconic blue suits, like orange hair, orange red hair, and the look was so stunning. And it was the best Bowie look I've seen. And in general, Joe Black is a phenomenal drag queen. And the fact that they kept sending her, and the whole fact that they're trying to make drag this sort of expensive thing to make sure that everyone pays a very, very good buck for their drag outfits. But at the same time, there was another queen which showed up in an ASOS jacket and it was fine as well. So it was really weird. But H&M wasn't okay, obviously. So I really wanted to say that obviously drag is evolving. Everything is evolving. COVID's evolving. Unfortunately. And I do understand that the bars are higher, just like in the Olympics, because Drag Race is the Olympics of drag, whether you agree with it or not. So I did feel like they're just missing a lot, and there's a lot of references, which obviously RuPaul calls the shots because it's her show. And she can do whatever she wants with it because everyone's going to be watching it at the end of the day. Let's be real. We're glued. But it still feels like they should know some stuff. Like, you can't just show up on television and say ballet is boring, you know? I don't know. Or not know the Jimi Hendrix tongue reference on the guitar. And then they said he should have played Rio Dick on the guitar, which is a reference to Kurt Cobain playing in, I think it was in Rio, actually. It was probably Rock in Rio, most likely. But yeah, there was that case. No, back when Kurt was alive. So, I wanted to say that everything is toned down. I hate everything. I hate to watch everything. No, not really. I'm not really watching it just like that. I finished on one episode and I was like, yeah, that's me. And I started watching Sex and the City again. Like, casually. For this one time. And when it comes to Drag Race, I also wanted to touch quickly on Maddy Morphosis, because I had a video on her before. And I had a lot of discussions. I had a lot of opinions. I talked And I really wanted to say that I think we should really, and this was said in my previous video, we should really, really, really understand that there's a lot of people who cross-dress. And they don't necessarily have to be not cis or not gay, because the cross-dressing community is massive. And I do understand that I'm talking from the fetishy cross-dressing community, but at the end of the day, if someone wants to dress up in other things, if someone wants to call it drag and does drag, it should be. My issue was that I didn't want cis-het woman in that space. And I guess I have to explain myself a bit, which is another thing why I had so much critique. I have very uncomfortable experiences with women fetishizing me, so I can get a bit carried away. I do understand that. And specifically, I had this incident where a trans women very often really objectify me for my parts, and they say that I'm surely a bottom because of that, and they want to top me, and that trans for trans, even though they can be like a trans woman lesbian, because they find it hot. And in general, I'm not saying this against trans women, I'm just saying that trans women grindr can be weird. And they approach me, and obviously I reply, and etc. So, and then I have the whole thing about a woman approaching me. I don't feel comfortable when women approach me because I'm gay. I'm not attracted. I'm not interested. And I've had a woman do things without my consent, so I'm not comfortable with that. And that's why I projected my insecurities onto saying that I feel very uncomfortable, because I thought that Maddy Morphosis would open the door to more women making me uncomfortable, which I understand in retrospective. It's me projecting. It's me saying that the bowl of M&M's theory is true. It's not. Even if there is a poisoned M&M, doesn't mean that all the other M&M's are bad. Which is a terrible, terrible argument, which was used in feminism to symbolize that if some men are bad, then the whole bunch is, and we shouldn't risk. So I just wanted to focus that indeed we shouldn't do such assumptions, that every case is a case-to-case basis. And even if I won't continue watching it just like that, I had my take on it. I don't like it. I'm not gonna follow it. RuPaul's Drag Race, I like it. I follow it. I'll keep watching it. And yeah, I really hope there will be some sort of, again, because I flirt with the cross-dressing scene. I do wish Maddy would talk about that if they do identify as a cross-dresser, or if they do cross-dressing in a fetish way. Because I do think it would be an interesting discussion to have. But if not, I'm sorry, Maddy. I'm just speaking. We always project ourselves, and we try to see things which are relatable. And when we don't see things that are relatable, we get upset. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe and give a like. Thank you.